Welcome back in. Hour number 3. We are taping this segment, just so you know. I wanted to make sure you could all hear from him because the battleground state of Pennsylvania is so incredibly important. And the guy that you need to make sure that you are the next senator from Pennsylvania is Dave McCormick. I am going to hop a flight as soon as we are done with the radio show today. Fly to State College, PA. I'm going to be with this man tomorrow, helping to rally voters. And it's a fun place to be doing it, too, with the Ohio State-Penn State game going on. He joins us now, the next senator, we hope, from Pennsylvania. If you guys get out and vote, Dave McCormick. How is it going? What are you seeing on the ground? It seems like Pennsylvania, whoever wins Pennsylvania for the presidency is going to be the president, and may well be the case that whoever wins the Senate race is going to control the Senate. Pennsylvanians have a lot in their hands. What are you seeing out there, Dave?
Hey, Clay, thanks so much for having me on. Can't wait to hang out with you tonight and tomorrow. It's going to be an incredible game. Penn State, Ohio State is going to be epic. And, I'm feeling great enthusiasm on the ground, honestly. I think what you're seeing is the polls have closed dramatically. And at the top of the ticket, I think the more people see of Kamala Harris, the more energy you see behind President Trump. And it's really an election that's about strength versus weakness, and the common sense policies of President Trump versus this radical liberal agenda: ban fracking, legalize illegal immigration, defund the police, mandatory buybacks of your guns. So I think that's why you see President Trump gaining steam. And in my case, it's a race between change that I represent and the status quo. From Bob Casey's a career politician, 30 years in elected office, votes 98.6% of the time with Biden-Harris, and has voted for all these crazy policies, sanctuary cities, defunding the police, boys competing in women's sports. He's just out of touch with Pennsylvania, and that's why I think you've seen the polls close. I think all the polling suggests that President Trump is tied or gaining some momentum and maybe a bit in the lead, and the same with me. And I think we're going to have a great day on November 5th, but we've got to get people, for your listeners, we've got to get every single voter out there. Tell your friends, 10 people, 10 people, 10 people. Get those people on the fence. This election really is the most important one of our lifetimes.
You mentioned something that I think is important. Pennsylvania is where Leah Thomas, the University of Pennsylvania swimmer, came from and swam against Riley Gaines. This is a man who swam on the University of Pennsylvania swim team, then flipped and decided to swim as a woman on the University of Pennsylvania women's team. Won an NCAA championship. Now, we employ Riley Gaines at Outkick. She's done a phenomenal job. University of Kentucky swimmer who just said, this is wrong. I'm not going to stand for this. She's been all over the place. Your opponent, Senator Bob Casey in Pennsylvania, said he supported this. I mean, by itself, that to me feels disqualifying to be representing the state of Pennsylvania.
It really is. It just shows you how extreme the Democratic Party has become. And Bob Casey, listen, I don't know what he was like 18 years ago, but he went to the Senate saying he was going to change Washington, and Washington changed Bob Casey. And he's now completely out of step with Pennsylvania. I've campaigned with Paula Scanlon, who was a teammate of Leah Thomas, and so had to be in the locker room, was suppressed by University of Pennsylvania. She's this great athlete.
I know her well. She's done fabulous work. She is, I'm sorry to cut you off, but for people who don't know her, she was having to be a teammate in the locker room with a man.
It's just hard to imagine. And, when I sat down with her and talked about this, it was, even though I had read about it, it was so far beyond what was, imaginable. And this just shows you how crazy and extreme the Democratic Party has become. And, listen, there's so many issues to talk about. The reckless spending that's led to inflation. But the wide open border is probably the thing that I hear the most about these days in the following sense. We got a huge fentanyl crisis across our country and in Pennsylvania, Clay. 4,000 Pennsylvanians last year. I sat down with a bunch of fentanyl families with my wife. We talked about the kids, the beautiful children they lost. It's like somebody reached down your throat and pulled your heart out when you hear these stories. And most of them didn't know they were taking fentanyl. And this is the cartels coming across the wide open border. It takes 24, 48, 72 hours, and that fentanyl through their distribution network is in Pennsylvania. and it's ravaging our communities. We lost 116,000 people last year in America, which is twice the number we lost in Vietnam in 8 years. We had 2 Vietnams last year. And Bob Casey has done nothing. He's voted against the border wall. He's voted against for sanctuary cities. He voted against funding for the Border Patrol. This is the kind of thing where you need strong leadership. And, if I'm in the Senate on day one, I'll support President Trump in the wall and securing the border, but I'll also support designating the cartels as a terrorist organization and using our military very thoughtfully, strategically, our drones, our special operations, to take out these manufacturing facilities from the cartels, the distribution networks. This is a war that is ravaging our children, and Bob Casey's done nothing about it.
You have 6 daughters. Yesterday was Halloween. I'm curious. I won't ask for specific names, but you probably had to meet a few boyfriends over the years. What is it like to have 6 daughters, to be a dad and be in charge? I mean, I can't even imagine. I've got 3 boys. I can't imagine what 6 daughters is like.
Man, we feel blessed. We've got a blended family, and so they're 24 to 18. And I say to people, listen, when you've had 6 teenage daughters at one time, politics seems easy. Politics is easy compared to 6 teenage daughters, and they are a joy for us. And we're so proud of them, and they're proud of their dad for running, or their stepdad for running, and have been very supportive. But you see that these political campaigns are tough on families, and you really got to put yourself in the arena. And my wife Dina has been an incredible partner and supporter in this, but you only do it because you think the country is going in the wrong direction, and you think you can make a difference. So, you and I have talked about West Point, where I learned the notion of duty, honor, country, and that is why I'm running, because I think our amazing, exceptional nation's at risk. I think we're going to wake up and not recognize the country we have for those 6 daughters, for your 3 boys, unless we change direction, and that's why we need strong common sense leadership in the Senate and the White House.
Have you seen, you may not have because you've got a billion things going on. You went to West Point. They are playing, I believe, against Air Force this weekend. They have skull crossbone helmets this weekend. Army does.
I've not seen them, no.
How badass are those?
It's pretty bad. It's pretty badass. Listen, this will be a huge game. I mean, I'm so proud of the Army team. They're great this year. Navy's done great this year too. The Army-Navy game is going to be incredible. And we have a great tradition. You talked about those 6 daughters, but we have this great tradition. The game's usually in Philadelphia. They've lost after the last couple of years, but we take them to Philadelphia every year for the Army-Navy game. And I insist, Clay, of getting them up early on Saturday morning, and we do the Rocky Run, which rain or shine, we do the Rocky Run. We end at the Art Museum, where you run the steps, and I make them sing the Rocky song. And there's lots of complaining, but they're always happy they did it. And then we take them to that game. And I've gone that game, I don't know, 30 times probably, 25, 30 times, and it never stops ever from me getting a little misty at the end when both teams stand at attention to sing the other's alma mater. The winning team's alma mater is sung last. And, Dean always says the great thing about that game, no matter who wins, Army or Navy, America always wins, because it's such an incredible rivalry of brothers in arms who are committed to defending our country and one another, despite a hell of a rivalry between the two.
No doubt. I've been fortunate enough to go to those games several times now. And if you are a sports fan or just an American who appreciates American history, it is something that should 100% be on the bucket list. Speaking of the bucket list, a lot of people would like to be going to the game that you and I are going to be going to tomorrow. Ohio State, Penn State. We're going to be tailgating. It's the biggest, best game of the day. Fox's Big Noon is going to be there. College Game Day is going to be there. It kicks off at noon Eastern from Happy Valley. For people who want to see where we are going to be tailgating, all those things, what can you tell them? I know we're going to be out bright and early, several hours, because, again, tailgate is at noon.
Yeah.
I mean, the kickoff is at noon Eastern,
yeah,
so it's an early kick.
We'll be there beginning at 9. We're in Lot 41. You're going to see me because my big McCormick campaign bus is there. and it's red, white, and blue and camouflage. It's got a 8-foot picture of my face on it, which my wife said to me, "You got to have a hell of an ego to have an 8-foot picture of your face on your bus." So we're excited about it. It's going to be a great turnout. We're going to have, I'm sure, many hundreds of students. And Clay, the thing I'm hearing, I don't know if you feel the same way when you go to campuses, but I feel, campuses have traditionally leaned much more Democrat for young folks, and man, I feel a lot of support around young people. I've done a number of college events, a number of sporting events. I feel a lot of young people that are deeply worried about their future, who want to save the country and have the kind of American opportunity that you and I have had. And I'm seeing a lot of energy on campuses. So we'll see that tomorrow morning, and then we're going to see an epic game. And let's go Penn State, go Lions.
Yeah. I like Penn State to win and cover, by the way, for the gamblers out there. Lot 41, I will be with him, the next senator from the great state of Pennsylvania, Dave McCormick. If you are going to be at that game, we'll even welcome Ohio State fans to come by and say hi. Yes, as well.
Thanks,
it should be an awesome scene. Lot 41, again, if you're going to be at that game, come by and see the next senator from Pennsylvania, Dave McCormick, and me as we get ready for the biggest and best game of the weekend taking place in State College, PA. Dave, appreciate it. I'll see you later tonight.
Coming, man.
Yeah, and I'm excited to help out whatever bit I can.
Just for your listeners, I'm at DaveMcCormickPA.com, and I'm fired up to have you come visit. Thanks for doing that, man, and see you tonight.
Can't wait. We'll see you tonight. DaveMcCormickPA.com. You just heard it. Get out and vote, everybody in Pennsylvania. You can choose the president and who's going to control the Senate. Incredible opportunity in your hands. I'll be with Dave McCormick tomorrow.